We've been talking so much about earnings. Well, that strong wave of earnings pushed stocks higher, and we're in the trading post. Now, you've got the two up. The Dow's up very strongly, the S&P not so strongly. But the Nasdaq barely lost a grand. So, Dan the lighting man, green, please, even though we have one that is lower. We're definitely going with a green across them. No records. The Nasdaq could have potentially added, but as you can see, it failed at the last hurdle. Alphabet closed at a record high. The massive fine from the EU didn't damage the business. The fine is now accounted for, but of course there will be appeals, and who knows how that might actually happen. And allow me to say, for the first time, results in from AT&T, parent company of this network. AT&T's earnings beat expectations, revenue did not. And now everybody wants to know, what is the plan? What is the plan, Brian Stelter?
You're not going to ask me, are you?
Well, I thought I might.
Okay, well, I'll try.
Right. What's the plan? What did you hear on the earnings call?
Certainly, Randall Stephenson, the CEO of AT&T, is talking about this being a transitional moment for the company. Not only was the TimeWarner takeover completed about 2 weeks before the end of the earnings season, the company also bought a big ad tech company. You know, the future of AT&T, as it's laid out by Stephenson, is a four-part company. Wireless, of course, is the biggest part, but now it's also a media company, and it really wants to be an advertising technology company, and that part is really still in its infancy. I think what Stephenson's really trying to say on this earnings call is, give us a minute. We've just taken over Time Warner, now called Warner Media. We're working on bringing content and distribution together. We're going to see what that looks like in the months to come. But in terms of the quarterly earnings, like I said, it's a mixed report. The stock's down 2%, but the earnings per share did beat forecasts.
Okay. The reality is, though, the other parts of this company, the telco part of it,
right,
and the sheer size of AT&T dwarfs, in terms of revenues, anything coming from Warner Media.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, totally, this company in the quarter, more than $38 billion in revenue. Of that, the media enterprise is relatively small, but the company is saying that HBO had a strong quarter, a quarter of subscriber growth, and that our part of the company, Turner, which includes CNN, TNT, TBS, et cetera, also had solid, what they're calling solid revenue and ad growth, ad sales growth and subscriber growth. Look, the cable business is getting harder and harder, and AT&T has a piece of that as well. There are some subscriber declines on the cable business. They're trying to push people into streaming bundles instead, and there were some signs of progress this quarter.
Would you agree that what we are seeing, though, and witnessing is a great experiment, in the sense of AT&T's bought us, they're now working out what to do with us in the nicest possible way?
I think experiment's a fair word. Look at AT&T versus Verizon. Verizon is its chief competitor.
What happened to
and
Verizon?
Verizon's going in a very different direction.
I mean, look, we had results from Verizon today.
Right.
They were solid. The stock didn't do any much. And in fact, if you look at the stock as a laggard on the Dow,
right,
it's done nothing for years.
Well, Verizon's strategy is all about the network. Just improve the wireless network and gain subscribers that way. AT&T is going a different direction, trying to bring content together on its network. Verizon, though, is saying, we don't think we need to buy a media company. We don't need to do anything like that. We're going to go in this technology direction. Two very different paths for two different wireless companies.
All right, let me invite you to speculate on those two different paths. At the end of the day, if you don't have a good cell signal,
right,
or have got a strong broadband,
then you've got nothing.
Then you've got nothing.
Right.
You would just be going round in circles.
I want to watch your show, but I can't because I don't have signal.
Exactly.
Right, right.
But if you haven't got any content,
right,
does content matter? Well, content is king, but does content matter if you are the provider?
Well, I think what AT&T is going to try to do in the next, let's say, 3 years is create unique experiences on your phone that you can only have if you're an AT&T customer. But I don't know what that looks like yet, and I don't know if the bosses do. That is the experiment that you're describing. AT&T has an interesting bit of wisdom that I think they're applying to the media world, which is they already have hundreds of millions of customer relationships. Netflix increasingly can brag about the same thing. But the HBOs of the world, they don't have that. AT&T is going to challenge HBO, but a lot of other media companies, even outside the AT&T orbit, to rapidly gain its subscriber base. And that's something that applies in technology, in entertainment, also in journalism. You look at the struggles of local newspapers, it's all about subscriber relationships.
Thank you for reminding me. I was negligent. Trunk.
Well, that's the other big story of the day.
Trunk, the New York Daily News, lost half its employees in the newsroom. They bought it for $1.
Right.
Zuckerman owned it for years.
Yeah.
Great institutions dwindled.
And this is what we're seeing across the country. This example was particularly shocking because half the staff was erased and let go in a single day. Now the remaining staffers have to move forward with this famed New York City tabloid. But I think this is related to AT&T. It's related because every single media company, whether you're a newsroom with a famous newspaper front page or whether you're HBO or CNN, it's all about the mobile phone. It's all about reaching people on the mobile phone. So if you're Trunk or if you're another struggling newspaper owner, you've got to figure out new ways to get people to subscribe and care about you on the phone. So many local papers are missing that opportunity right now. They're not figuring out what the future looks like because they're so focused on trying to hold on to what they have now, which is a declining print newspaper business. So let's hope those remaining staffers of the Daily News, they can figure out this device. Maybe AT&T and Verizon can help them.
Brilliant to have you on the program, sir.
Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.